you, Mark. Thank you. Mr. Miniman.
I would love to say that I'm going to be brief, but I am not going to be, so I apologize ahead of time. But we have some really amazing things happening here, and it's really important that we highlight the great work that we have been doing over the past number of years, as well as the anticipated work that we have going forward. The areas, again, we're going to focus on have been the areas that we have focused on the past number of years, which is the curriculum and instruction, instructional technology, and most importantly is the professional development. We are entering next year our second year of our 3-year literacy plan. We're going to continue to support the professional development with the Lucy Calkins units of study in kindergarten, grade 3, and grade 5. And we're going to start the implementation in grades 1, 2, and 4. We're currently looking for schools right now who are willing to pilot the reading units of study as well. And we hope to be able to pilot that across the district in several elementary schools. We're going to continue the implementation of our writers workshop in grades 6, 7, and 8. We have fully completed that process. We're very excited about the work that has been done there, and excited to introduce the fact that we're going to look to do the writers workshop in grade 9 as well. So that continuum of writing focus going from kindergarten all the way through high school has been a definite focus for us, and it's something that we're very proud of and very excited to share the samples work that we had talked about at a previous meeting. In addition to that, we currently have a program in district called eSpark. I'll talk about it when we discuss math. But it has a component for literacy as well. And we're looking to find buildings within the district elementary schools and pilot it actually in all of the elementary schools in grades 1 and 2. Again, another support, early intervention for our students, providing that foundational base so that we can have less supports later on. In mathematics, we're going to continue the targeted intervention we have with our math specialists in kindergarten through grade 5. We're starting our second year of our 3-year mathematics plan, which means the second year of implementation of Math in Focus, kindergarten through grade 5. We're looking to differentiate our professional development this coming year. This past year, for the initial rollout, we did a tremendous amount of pulling out of teachers from the buildings. We're looking to do more embedded professional development, more one-on-one, grade level, building specific, wrapped around building needs and individual teacher needs. And we have surveys going out for teachers to identify those needs and really target what kind of professional development they need going forward. We have an anticipated resource recommendation for grades 6 through 8 at the end of this school year. We have a committee of middle school teachers, along with our director of mathematics, Louise Berger, working through sample pilots, and they're actually piloting materials currently. And we anticipate a recommendation probably in May.
For September?
Sorry?
For September?
And we have we're looking for a resource adoption for grades 6 through 8 in September. In addition, one of the things that we have heard over the past number of years is to continue to increase the support for our parents. That's something that we will definitely do. We did some parent workshops this past year. They were a semi-success because, I would say 25 people coming out is a small number. We're going to look to make more targeted parent workshops available throughout the school year at all the different buildings, not only provided by outside consultants, but also provided by our district directors and chair people, as well as hopefully our instructional staff being able to speak to their parents about what's going on in the classroom. We're going to continue the online support for Math in Focus. We've heard some great feedback from that, as well as 2 outside programs that students have access to outside of the classroom, which is IXL and Castle.
Steve, as far as the parent, I'm sorry to get back to what you said before, as far as the parent night workshop, do you have like a PowerPoint that maybe you can share with parents?
What happened this year was we ran the parent workshops through Math in Focus. So their PowerPoints were copyrighted, so we weren't able to share. We were able to share some of the resources online, but not the entire PowerPoint. We want to try to own it for this coming school year. We want the investment of our teachers to help prepare it, just kind of based upon the needs of their buildings. And at that point, we definitely share it out.
So is there any way to prepare some of that workshop so that, it's video recordable and we can put it on?
Yeah, that'd be great.
So parents can then almost it's sort of like an ongoing blog as we do the workshops. Hey, listen,
Something
it doesn't have to be the entire workshop, but a piece of it. that the parents can go to and use that resource, rather than, I understand like the entire, you know, just want to give it an hour-long session or something, watching something, but pieces of it that might be instructional for a parent to use as a resource, but then be posted online, so.
Yeah,
And then it goes back to the copyright, because we videotape it.
we can videotape our own
So
stuff.
I'm
I'm saying those, but the vital information was those PowerPoint presentations by the,
That was more a global overview of Math and Focus, what the program is about, its origins.
So it really wasn't the core of the.
It's about the math and what the math is about and what similarities and differences it had between what we're currently doing. What we're looking to do moving forward is more targeted parent workshops around challenges and issues that parents are having either at specific grade levels or at specific buildings. So that's something, and I think the online component would be fantastic. It would be a great, resource going back, for parents to be able to kind of continue to access.
Yeah, and the teachers can point them out to them to go see them too when they ask for help.
The Math and Focus has a tremendous amount of videos that are accessible to parents. A lot of them are interactive, so they do have interactive manipulatives, so kids will be able to use the same manipulatives at home that they did in the classroom and be able to work through some of the problems with their.
So are the parents, I know last year a lot of parents were very stressed over homework. Has that changed now? Does it seem to be more balanced with even work on the positive side, if that parents feel less stressed and that the work is?
I don't think parents will ever feel less stressed.
Well, I'm saying as far as the material goes.
I think they feel they have more resources accessible to them. They can go online and see the book, see where their child is. They can cheat a little bit and go ahead and find out where the answers are.
Isn't that an advantage when you have from the year
Yeah,
prior? So
it is.
that's what I'm saying, would that decrease stress?
I would hope so. I haven't heard a resounding, this is totally reducing all the stress,
You
but
have to put the time in.
yeah,
And
I
that's really what-
think we're moving in the right direction, and the feedback that we've received both from the instructional staff and our parents is that it's positive. So I don't want to give us a pat on the back yet. So we still have a lot of work to do, and I think it's something that we will continue to do. And
I'm asking
we're
this,
set.
I haven't heard any parents consistently complain, so I'm thinking that's a positive. Yeah, I know. So I'm thinking that's a positive.
It is positive. In addition to that, we are putting together our math resource committee for grades 9 through 12. And our goal at the end of 17-18 will be to have a recommendation for a mathematical primary resource for the high school level as well. We're going to continue, I spoke about it a little bit earlier, eSpark is an adaptive iPad program. Adaptive in the sense that it allows students to start where their deficits are, work through those successes. They do videos of themselves actually performing the mathematical concepts that they need. Teachers check those videos, and then they're sent new apps to continue to move forward. That has been an absolute amazing resource for our teachers. I think some of our administrators have been in the buildings watching the kids interact with the iPads, watching them. It's twice a week for 15 minutes, but the intensity, the excitement from the level of the kids, and the progress kids are making is absolutely amazing. Teachers are commenting about the amount of instructional time they're gaining back because of some of the backfilling that they don't have to do moving forward. So we're very excited about that. We look forward to the same results for literacy as well. In the area of social studies,
Out of curiosity, is that only we only have it in first and second grade, and we're targeting that particular area. Is that something that is available at different grade levels to help?
it goes up to grade 5. Our goal initially,
I'm not questioning.
yeah, it goes up to grade 5, and they came out with the new product called Frontier, which we are exploring. It has different kind of tasks that you can do. A little bit more on the enrichment side than on the remediation side. Our goal, and going back to a couple of years ago when we first started, was the early intervention piece, and making sure that we're providing that early intervention and getting kids those foundational skills that they need in order to be able to access the content as they move forward.
Well, this piece I feel is nice because the kids can spiral down individually back to where they're deficient, where you're not.
I think what we'll do, maybe I'll speak to Mr. Davis about this, is we'll bring some of the eSpark.
Yeah, my daughter's using it.
Yeah, so you guys can pilot it. In the area of social studies and science is currently going through a revision of their standards. The exciting thing about the changes in the standards in social studies and science is it's a more hands-on, more inquiry-based, They're more aligned to each other, and they're more aligned to what we're doing in ELA. So there's a real thread that goes between all of the content areas now with the realignment of some of the standards. We're doing some curriculum writing this summer to support the newly adopted social studies textbooks in grades 4 and 5. We're continuing designing the units of study K through 12 based upon the social studies framework. Last year we had in the actual writer of the framework, and he worked with our staff K-12. It was a great opportunity for us to be on the ground with them with the initial implementation, and the work that we're seeing in our classrooms is absolutely amazing. We're going to continue to provide professional development opportunities K-12 across the district. We're going to, I think at the secondary level, 6 through 12, it's a focus on our resources and making sure that our curriculum is aligned, as well as going back K through 5 and making sure that the implementation of the Putnam County Social Studies Curriculum Framework is something that we're continuing to do and relook at, and making sure that those inquiries are embedded into those as well. We have some amazing directors and chair people that are providing in-district professional development for us, and that will create, that will continue. That started in their first year and will continue out through this year. And again, building those workshops based upon those inquiries. In the area of STEM, we started this year with some virtual field trips in kindergarten, 4th grade and 5th grade. The feedback we received from our students was outstanding, as well as from our faculty. They thought they were meaningful, powerful, and really relevant to the content. We're looking to expand that K through 5. As well as bringing in Star Lab, which is something that we typically do, and our outdoor education experiences. We are requesting an addition to the budget, which is one additional club at each of the elementary schools, which would be a computer science club on top of the 6 that they currently have. And in that class, it would support the math, science, technology, and engineering principles that we're trying to embed K through 12. We are doing some curriculum writing because, again, the standards have changed in science. Again, it's a more hands-on, and they call it a three-dimensional learning model. So it is less lecture and more inquiry-based learning for our students, which is, again, that common thread that has gone through each of the content areas. We're looking to get an early start on the implementation of this three-dimensional learning model, and we're very fortunate because Dr. Losing, who is our science chairperson, is one of the major players in New York State with regards to the framework, the three-dimensional learning, and the new standards coming out in science. So we have a leg up on everybody else. She's being asked to present it at every district around Long Island right now. So we are capturing that, and we're starting in K2, using the kits that we currently have and revamping them so that they match that model of instruction. The next bullet is extremely exciting. It's a pilot of Z-Space, and Z-Space is an interactive lab experience that's three-dimensional for students. We are, through our multi-year purchase, we were able to secure Z-Space for our 5th grade students. We're at this point, we're going through the purchasing process and the bidding process to find out how many we can get. Our goal is to be able to have several classroom sets that we'll be able to circulate throughout the district. We'll be bringing in someone to do some presentations to the board as well. Really amazing hands-on lab experiences, real life for our kids that really kind of it's going to change what we do for STEM education. In addition to that, we're doing the implementation of our STEM Academy at Connecticut High School. We're designing those three-dimensional units of grades 6 through 12. We're doing curriculum writing this summer for our middle school math, science, technology courses to embed and integrate coding into that as a core of what they do. As well as last year, we were able to introduce, thanks to the board, a Robotics 1 course. We have enough student interest to continue that on so that we have a Robotics 2 coming for this school year without any additional staffing requirements. For our English as a new language students, we have a program that we piloted, and I apologize for the typo, but there is it's a program called Elevation. It does two things. It measures individual student progress to make sure that they are on target for their learning goals. And the second is that it helps us maintain data for those students to make sure that we're providing that appropriate education that we can provide to the state. We had our E&L dinner 2 weeks ago, and I had a parent come up to me and say, you know, that translation service is unbelievable. And what that is Propio, and we were piloting it this year to see how well it worked. We have a difficult time. Our challenge at ConnectWide is that we have a very diverse E&L population. We have roughly about 125 students who we serve here, and I think there are probably close to 40 different nationalities that are in that 125. So to find people who are able to translate for students, to translate for teachers, to translate for parents is very challenging for the district. And there is a cost that goes along with that, and we are looking to see if we're able to reduce some costs moving forward. But we're doing a full implementation of Propio, which is a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week translation service, accessible for staff and for our E&L parents. It really helps bridge that gap and create that communication and that sense of community between the school and the home. We're working on some co-teaching professional development in consultation with our special education colleagues because part of Regulations Part 154 require us to do co-teaching in English Language Arts. We're also going to pilot SIOP, which is the Sheltered Instructional Observation Model at ConnectWide High School. Sheltered instruction is it's language-based, but it's really embedded in the content of what's happening in that class. And it's a research-based program that has been very highly effective with the use of E&L students. So we're moving forward with that. And again, we have some amazing district directors who are doing some great professional development in-house, and that will continue as we go on next year. At the high school, we're going to roll out, continue to roll out our Futuring project, and that will kind of set the roadmap for the next 5 years for our high school. It's a very exciting process. Mr. Costa was here at the last board meeting, or the board meeting before, to present on that project, as well as what the intricacies of that project are, and it's a very exciting project. Right now, he is going around to each of the stakeholders within the building and discussing this project as it's moving and rolling out. We're actually finishing our first year of our 5-year Academy Exploration and Implementation. This current year, we were awarded by New York State the CTE accredited certificate for our Business Academy. We will have students who graduate this year with a CTE certificate on their diploma. For next year, the scheduled implementation, again, is the STEM Academy. And as this program works, it is a cycle, and it is that involves staff input, it involves student input, and it involves administrative input as far as the constant flow of information. We are looking at the exploration of a computer science and cybersecurity academy for the 18-19 school year. But that could change. It is a fluid process. We do have a 5-year layout, which we will share with the Board of Education. I think Mr. Costa did share with the Board of Education as far as well. In addition to that, one of the things that we have noticed as a challenge and a deficit is some of our secondary textbooks. So working with our district directors and building principals, we have created a 5-year textbook review replacement process, and we're going to focus primarily on ConnectWide High School right now as we move forward. So that's something that is, again, within the budget of my department.
Lee has a question.
Sorry.
In terms of the Business Academy, I have some information, and I didn't see PowerPoint documentation. I've gotten it from my son has it right now, but from the person that headed up his master's program in terms of Business Academy, but in terms more specific to advertising the next piece of the Business Academy. Is this something I should forward that to you?
Absolutely.
Or can I also have him perhaps even through you?
You can call me or Brian Frank, our Director of Social Studies and Business. One of the things that in this cycle is a constant, it's an implementation, it's an investigation, implementation, and then a reevaluation. So we would be, this is our implementation year for our Business Academy. Next year would be our reevaluation year. We have a committee that comes together that will reevaluate that academy to see what's working, what's not working, what needs to be expanded. And that would be a perfect opportunity to have those kind of discussions about more targeted courses or career-oriented courses. So definitely can reach out to me. Instructional technology is something that we are incredibly proud of here in Connecticut, and over the past number of years we have done an amazing job, not only in front of students but also behind the scenes. And I want to credit Mr. Davis for the work that he's done with his staff. We have a robust internal network, and we'll talk about some of the positives and some of the challenges that are coming up. We're in our third year of the 4-year instructional technology implementation. By the end of this school year, we will have interactive boards in every instructional space in the district. And if you remember back a couple of years ago, one of the goals that we had was creating that flat environment. And that flat environment does two things. It provides a common experience for all of our students across the district, and provides a common experience for all of our teachers across the district. In that flat environment, two things are necessary. One, devices to use, which are interactive smart boards. The second is the software. And what the software allows us to do is, everybody using the same platform allows us to share information across the district. So that sharing of best practices is that next step that we're looking to take. Next year we'll complete the smart board installations with our, I think we call them category C boards, which are our oldest boards. They'll be taken down, decommissioned, and our new boards will be put up. Every classroom will have a brand new smart board, as well as the smart software and a new classroom computer that we can move forward with. The goal of everything that we're implementing is that it is building towards the future. So as we expand the usage of technology and we embed it more into the instruction of our classrooms, we're able to grow with the stuff, the equipment that we're purchasing at this point. So we are looking for a long shelf life with the equipment. In addition to that, we're providing additional document cameras to enhance some of the literacy and science and social studies content that we have going on. We have 4 computer labs that are being replaced, 2 at each of the middle schools. We have 4 additional iPad carts that will be distributed throughout the district, as well as 1 laptop cart at each of the middle schools. So we will have a fully mobile, fully vibrant opportunity for kids at all levels. Sorry?
How many laptops or iPads in the cart?
We do probably 30 is our average, so that we have we have enough for everybody.
At the elementary level, how many laptop carts per building?
Right now, none.
iPad carts a lot.
Right. We have fixed labs that we are replacing this year. So all of our labs are getting updated this year in each of our elementary schools.
What about iPad carts at the elementary?
At the iPad carts, we have grades 1 and 2. We have between 4 and 5 iPad carts.
Yeah, they're kind of split. When we looked at each section, or 2 sections were sharing an iPad cart for a classroom set, so that they could move from one classroom to the next. And it's predominantly for the East Park.
So that's just in the lower grades?
Yes.
So 3rd, 4th, 5th has no access to the iPad carts?
We're looking to expand that. So the first opportunity we have, some of these additional carts that we're putting in are for our RTI students, so teachers can use to enhance the instruction of what's going on. The first initial was the fidelity of the program, to make sure that the program was run the way it should be, research-based. Now that we have done it for a full year, what we're finding is that teachers are now taking it and sharing it across the building. Is it enough to share across the entire building? No. And we're going to continue to build towards that in the future.
So in this 4-year program, right now we're not scheduled to put more iPad carts or laptop carts in the elementary?
Well, we're in the process. We're finishing a multi-year grant this year, and then we'll be in the process of creating that next one for that coming year.
What does an iPad cart cost?
How much does an iPad cart cost?
Approximately. Doesn't have to be exact.
20,000 per 30 or 25 workstations.
Cart every day,
Cart.
ready to go.
It's about 20, about 20,000.
And I can't, again, I want to just comment on Pat's staff. We have the most amazing technicians on staff. They are not focused on the technology, they're focused on the kids. And anytime we have conversations about anything that we're doing, they're always involved in it. And it's not from the end of how do we implement it, but it's from the end of how's it going to benefit the classroom. And each of them, we have a bunch of them who provide courses at our teacher center about how to integrate it into the classroom. So not only do they go in and just make sure that the technology is working, but they're also helping the enhancement of the instruction in the classroom.
So if we ordered, say, 7 more carts, if you wanted to put that in the budget, would they be used wisely next year? Or they would just be there?
I'm more of I need a set plan of why we're doing what we're doing.
Okay.
So I tend to be a little bit slower on the implementation based upon the fact of I need commitment versus just compliance. To have them is great, but we need to make sure that they're embedded in the instruction.
Okay, that makes sense.
So where are we here? Okay, we're almost to the end. One important thing, and you'll notice that was included as something for approval for this evening from Sharon's office is the cybersecurity piece, and that's something that we're consistently doing. The district has upgraded its cybersecurity. I think we are state of the art right now and excited about what we're doing. We are right now in the 8th or 9th month of a Google Classroom pilot. We have about 400 high school students who are participating in a Google Classroom pilot. And what Google Classroom is, it's a platform that allows students to share, collaborate, and work with their teachers. And the teachers are sharing information with them, they're sharing it back. And we're very excited about how that's going. Again, we did a very slow implementation. We kind of got all the bugs out. Our entire backside is completely built. The pilot is running so smoothly that we're ready to probably open it up for the entire high school next school year. So we're really excited about that opportunity, as well as starting a pilot of BYOD at the high school. And BYOD is a bring your own device. We currently have a lot of teachers who are, I call them early adopters, and they are allowing their students to bring tablets, bring iPads, bring laptops, use their phones during the instructional time to access information, to share information, and we want to embrace that. And I'll talk about something at the end that is a challenge for us and a concern. Now that we have the technology in the classroom, it's time to really focus on the instruction of what's happening. And one of the things that, it's great that we're presenting material, but we need to make sure that it's in kids' hands and kids are interacting with it, that it's really enhancing their educational experience, not just as a show tool. And we are working to change the professional development that we currently have. Right now we are working on integrating the technology into the classroom. The next piece for us would be to incorporate a model of instruction, and that's what we're looking at, which is called the SAMR model. And the SAMR model is substitution, augmentation, modification, redefinition. The intent of it is that it gives you a framework to start at a low level and then build to a higher level. And the ultimate thing is redefinition, would be to take the information that you have, be able to redefine it, share it out, re-educate other people. And we are working right now with my technology literacy committee on developing the grade level skills that are needed, when they should be introduced, when they should be reinforced, and when they should be mastered. And when that work is completed, we'll be presenting it to the Board of Education, which will be in line with the SAMR model of instruction. We're very excited about that as we move forward into next year. We want to give students access to eSchool. Instead of using their parents' accounts, we want to give them their own so that they can access the information and make sure that they are aware of what's happening within their classes.
Mobile of the system?
No. The final piece, again, I talked earlier about our infrastructure. We have a tremendous network operations center, state of the art. We have increased our bandwidth into the district. We have added state-of-the-art wireless in all of our elementary schools. We're in the process of planning of updating the wireless in our middle and high school as well. The one challenge we do have is our wired infrastructure. It is, if you were on the technology committee, it was something that we did speak about. We do have the Smart Schools bond, was put in, and we have a submission to update our wireless infrastructure, our wired infrastructure, and that's the hard wiring in all of our closets. So we could have a giant pipe coming in, but once it gets to the closets, it could get jammed. We are at a point now where it's, we're concerned about the overload to our network, but we hope that with the smart schools coming through someday, we'll be able to do that project and move forward.
Just so the board is aware, we've been in expense review since August. About us and about 150 other school districts have just stalled an expense review, and that's just because they have one person looking at all the projects. It's been problematic.
Can you tell me what the second type is gonna look like at high school?
It is similar to what we did with the Business Academy. We have a variety of different electives that are currently taking place. They're setting up the scope and sequence. There'll be a committee of teachers that put together that scope and sequence of what the expectations are, and then a senior year kind of putting it together.
So will there be any kind of certification in the 12th year, or is it, you have to check off the boxes to get to the 12th year?
So similar to when Mr. Costa presented, there are CTE and non-CTE. This would be a non-CTE.
When can we get to the CTE?
We have one currently with the business. So each of the academies is going to be in a different, so this one is a non-CTE. I think the computer science and the cybersecurity may be a CTE designated.
So when can we get them to be a CTE?
It's not recognized by New York State as a CTE.
Oh, it's
No,
not. So there's no type of certification in the 12th year of completion?
no. It's more of the opportunity and experience for that student who has an interest in computer science.
So what are you offering in the 12th grade? I understand virtual business. What they offer in the 12th grade, what are we offering in the 12th grade as far as?
I'll get you that information. I'll forward it to you, detailed.
Is that more hands-on, like with virtual business, more interacting with the actual process of the business? In this case, the STEM part of it.
The ultimate end goal would be the research component. That would be either the full-fledged science research component or an abbreviated version.
So then we have a science research program now, so how
It would be part of that. So students could go into two different areas.
I know this time because I'm a little
Yep,
confused.
that's okay.
Do you have any, just out of curiosity, or because it's curious, but you bring your own device, Glenn? Are they using our wireless network?
Yes.
Their data?
So we currently
How's that work?
not to answer.
I asked this question because I know Pat wants to get involved in the discussion.
Let me see how I do. Wait, let me see how I do.
Okay, you can,
Forget it.
I feel like you have Optimum online, my kids don't use that much data because they have Optimum online.
it's not too much as data, it's when you look at, some districts have looked at what's called one-to-one, providing every student device. What most districts have found that it's not sustainable. Even if we looked at, if I were to look at, say, provide every teacher let's say a MacBook Air or a Surface Pro, it's $966,000. Where does the money come from in 4 years to replace those devices? So what money districts have looked at is bring your own device. A lot of students already have their own device, parents have their own. We will open up our wireless network that most things today are all internet-based. We do have a loop around that allows students to access their own data through the outside network to come back in, to be able to allow them to get access to their own files, their own data that they've got.
So then where does Optimum online come in on that?
Optimum Online is not coming into this. Well, Optimum comes in where if you've got Optimum at home,
Right.
you can what's called remote in, or what we call VDI, into access your own data as though you're on campus, as though you're in a classroom.
So that's what I'm saying, wouldn't it probably be considered one of our hotspots?
No, we have our own network.
We have
so
our own network for that.
It's secure.
The difference between Optimum Online is you've got very limited bandwidth, and it's not filtered. We provide where students can log in, they're in a filtered environment, behind our firewall, behind our
So I understand
protection.
that piece of it, then now you're telling David that the kids are using a device.
They're
So-
they're using our wireless.
They're using our wireless, they're not, no one's
I
being
got it,
charged
I got it,
anything.
I got it.
So I know I'm being a little cynical, but here's my next question. How filtered are we going with this? Is this limited to just what content the teachers want them to have available to a certain degree? Or is this, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, I realize that you can't control everything, but right now you've got maybe, you know, certain teachers that are doing certain things in the classroom, you get kids that want to participate, they're bringing their own device. You now open that up to everybody, and you got the 200 kids that don't care that are now sitting watching video in the back of the classroom.
With it,
You know, my question is, how far are we controlling what they're limited to or what they're not allowed to, you know, access to the network?
we're required by the internet, you know, what's called SEPA compliance, that we are required to provide filtering for 8 categories to keep children out of, you know, I was going to say inappropriate content. Everyone is filtered to keep out of the inappropriate content. We do open up teachers to have additional access to certain content. Teachers have access to YouTube. Students are limited to what's called YouTube in education. Teachers have access to Netflix because there are certain content that they need to use in a classroom. Students do not have access to Netflix. So we do have different
So there were
levels
protocols in
of
place.
filtering. That anyone who accesses our network is minimal filtered as though they're a student, which is the most maximum, you know, filtering.
So your kids
So-
go on Snapchat?
No.
So no Snapchat, no Facebook?
Snapchat right now is opened up to one classroom, one class. We do have a section of, I want to call it, you know, Internet 2, where there's one class where students have access to Facebook, they have access to Twitter, they have access to certain content. Only these students in that computer lab. If those students were now to exit that lab and go into the library, they're filtered. You know,
So we have a couple different wireless networks that are accessible, and, you know, we have one designated just for students. The other piece of this goes back to the technology literacies. Our responsibility is to teach them the responsible use of technology, and that's a major function of what we have to do, K through 12.
And I am of the philosophy of telling them no is not going to teach them.
Yeah.
So we are working with our technology literacy committee, with our teachers, with our librarians, in order to build that technology literacy K through 12 for our students.
Yeah, I was just curious how we set up. Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, Mr. Miniman, thank you very much. All right, moving on.